put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers, to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adanna Combie, and we continue conversations with guests in studio. For those of you who are checking in, it's now 7:21 a.m. Yes, you have just about 40 minutes, or should I say 39, to get yourself in your office space. So for those of you who are dropping off to school, is school still in? And for those of you who are getting into the office, there is just that 40 minutes, 39 minutes to get there. We're speaking with Mr. Ricardo Bobb in studio this morning. He is the Public Health Inspector 4, and we're talking about white waste cleanup for Christmas. Of course, at Christmas time, you know, we always buy these new appliances. We always have something that we need to throw out as well. So we're here to talk about that in terms of the schedule for getting it done and the proper way in which to take it out to the roadside or wherever it is they're going to be collecting it. Good morning, Mr. Bobb, and welcome.
Good morning to you. Good morning to Tobago.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have you, and we're happy to talk about anything about Christmas. We're happy to talk about in studio these days, because I mean, you know, it's Christmas time. Just look at our nice background there. It's all about Christmas. So we know around this time there's a lot of waste that people store in and around their homes for the entire year. But Christmas time is a time when we try to get rid of them.
Yes.
So when we talk about white waste, what are we talking about?
Right. Well, it's amazing. I'm amazed at the amount of waste that people have in their homes. When we talk about white waste, actually, the white waste program is part of our mosquito eradication program. You know, this is the rainy season, and people usually have a lot of appliances, especially that can hold water. What they do, they tend to put them in the backyard, in the front yard, someplace around the house, and then we run the risk of having an outbreak of dengue fever and other mosquito-borne diseases. So as part of our mosquito eradication program, this white waste collection is what we do. We try to do them several times a year. However, it may not always work out, but Christmas time is one of the best times because people are, you know, out with the old, in with the new. People are more inclined to participate and cooperate. And that's why we're doing this campaign. Now, as a matter of fact, we're a little bit late because we recognize that the closer we put it to Christmas, the more challenging it is. However, we are up for the challenge.
And you're right, out with the old and in with the new. This is the time people, I mean, just last week or whenever it was when they had the Black Friday sales, you saw the stores flooded with people buying television, they're buying all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
So, of course, and you're right, I've seen, you know, even in my own space, I've seen where people just have their old stuff on the outside of the house collected, as
Yes.
you say, water, breeding ground for pests.
Breeding ground for pests.
Right,
yes.
and so some of the things that we call white waste, what can we categorize or itemize as white waste for those of the viewers who are hearing this term for the first time?
Yes, so your old microwave, your old refrigerator, the stove, you know, any appliance that can, you even have sometimes part of the iron, your old oven, you know, all those things, old pipes,
Washer, dryer.
washers, dryers, all those things. People tend to have those things. What we don't take up, people sometimes put out like the old galvanizer and stuff as well. We'll take that up. However, we don't want you to put old concrete because some people do that. Some people put out every single thing. That's for another collection. But whatever can hold water. Sometimes we find old containers as well. They may be metal or they may even be plastic. So for example, we had a wonderful, we partnered with Speyside last weekend, and they did a wonderful cleanup in the Speyside area. And as we're talking about that, we're going to start in the east. You know, the east is where things begin, is where the day starts, the sun comes up.
Right.
So we are going to start in the east, in Charlottesville. We start on the 14th actually, which is next week. So it means that when we start on the 14th, that area that we are doing on the 14th, you must put out your waste on the 13th, the afternoon before. So we're calling on neighborhoods. It's an opportunity to literally come together, to have even brand new relationships and help each other. There may be senior citizens in your community who may have things, you know, you help them to bring them out in the front of your property, not on other people's property, so that we can collect them easily. We will have our workers as well to assist folks in the community. So we start on the 14th. We start in Charlottesville and we're doing down to Calder Hall. We'll have 10 trucks that will be participating in the project, and we do down to Calder Hall for the first 2 days. After that, we go to the north. So we're moving kind of like east to west.
Right.
Because the sun sets in
Right.
the west, so that's the close of day. The west is kind of like the most densely populated area, and so we want to make sure that we clean up the east first. After we finish the first 2 days in the east, then we are going to go across to the north, Lansfommy, all the way down, including Mount Thomas, Golden Lane, and those areas, and then we go to the central area, Scarborough, Bacalet, Marys Hill, and those areas, and then we go down to the city, where we will do our cleanup. And we really want people to participate. We want people to cooperate. One of the challenges we normally have is people tend to put out the waste after. We notify, we send out flyers, we do announcements, and I don't know, but this year we are encouraging, we are asking, we are begging you, Tobago, do not put out your waste after the schedule, because it complicates things. Because we're doing the campaign so late in the game, remember, we'll be doing cleanup the week before Christmas. What we found, sometimes people wait until Christmas Eve night. And after the streets are beautifully cleaned, we pass on Christmas morning, because we do work. We have the cruise ships that are coming in on those days, and people are putting out stuff. We're asking you not to do that. Remember, this is the most beautiful place, the cleanest, most beautiful planet on the island on the planet. So we don't want to have those things happening. So put your stuff out as per schedule. Let's help each other. Let's use it as an opportunity to come together as a people. Because what I've noticed is that we are adjusting our behaviors in terms of how we deal with waste, and I'm very concerned about that. So we want to use this as an opportunity, a springboard to more exciting things as we move forward.
When you say we are adjusting our behaviors as it relates to waste, tell me a little bit about what you mean about that.
Right. Now, we're not taking care of our waste as we should. We're just putting it anywhere. So I was driving on the streets of Scarborough Sunday evening, and I'm like, my goodness, there's a lot of litter around. Why are we doing this? There are bins, and people are not putting the waste in the bin. You move around in certain communities. Just yesterday, we had to send our truck down to Mount Pleasant, down to Canaan, and people are just throwing their waste in vacant lots when we have an excellent collection service. We have one of the best in the region. And so we need not have that amount of waste. The next thing is, believe it or not, you can call 639-1433 any working day, and if you have white waste, we will actually come and collect it from you. So that's a service that we offer that many people actually tap into. So you don't have to wait until the collection time comes. If you have any old appliances and so on, you can just call that number and we'll come and take it up. Yeah. So there are services that are available, and we continue to promote them. 639-1433, and I'm even going to be brave enough to give you my own number, so that you can call. We can arrange it. People do it all the time.
And the thing about it, though, is you're talking about white waste right now, and you gave me a whole your whole experience with people, discarding the waste in an irresponsible way. What about people who are driving in cars and just put the windows down and throw things out? I mean, these are things that are unacceptable.
Unacceptable. And I don't know, since when we have become that kind of people, we are losing our consciousness, and it is in the little things. We love to travel to countries and say, oh, this country is so clean and nice. How did it become clean and nice? It's because those people who belong to that country take care of the country. And so Tobago, this can happen in Tobago. I remember once a friend of mine, brought their daughter to Tobago all the way from Belgium. And we are taking them on a tour of Tobago. They found this place so beautiful. And here is this lady. She's seeing litter on the forts, and she's going with her bare hands and taking them up. And like, wow. I felt so embarrassed, because she's saying this place is too clean to have any litter, and she's taking it up with her bare hands and look for bin. Every bottle, every piece of paper.
I think we need to come back to a place of pride in our own space, of national pride, and pride in our communities and in the space. Because as you rightfully said, Tobago is a beautiful place, and a lot of people advocate for the beauty of Tobago.
Yes.
So maybe we need to come up with ways that we could, inspire people to be proud of your space, proud of your environment, proud to call here our home, and to take care of this part of the planet that was given to us to cherish it. And so the white waste collection begins from the 14th of December, and you're starting, as you said, in the east. And the encouragement or the advice is rather to put it on the outside the evening before.
Yes, the evening before. So because we're going to start about 6 in the morning, between 6 and 7 in the morning, and we're going to be moving through every street, every village we're going to be doing. And if you find that we may have missed a spot, then you can call 639-1433 and let us know, or you can call even my number 751-4960, and we will ensure that that waste is picked up. We're just saying, please don't put it out Christmas Eve, because the folks who are doing, and we've had that before. I remember we did a campaign about 6 years ago, and we moved through the entire of Tobago, and then Christmas Day people are calling because they put their stuff out Christmas Eve night and expects us to collect it.
I'm thinking maybe there should be some measure of repercussions for people who do things like this. Is just my own personal opinion.
The only thing is that they put it out in the night, so we never see who it is. Right.
But the thing about the campaign, though, I think maybe a more active and aggressive campaign in terms of ensuring people know when the collection days are for their areas. Because we know so far the 14th we started in Charlottesville. Yes. When is the schedule actually coming out?
Right, so you should get that schedule out by tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday, yes, that schedule should be out so folks can know, and we are going to not just put it on all the different medias, but we hope to be able to have announcements and so on in the areas, and then we'll utilize a lot of our workers who are in the communities to do groundwork.
Right. And you know, you mentioned something earlier when we were talking about collecting the items from within your communities, and it actually gives a perfect opportunity for community involvement.
Yes.
The elderly people, as you mentioned, the older persons in the communities who are not as mobile, or, you know, just not feeling to get out.
Yes.
The younger people could rally around them and help them to bring their waste out.
Church groups, community groups, sports groups, and so on. And this is a beautiful time because school is going to be out. So the younger ones, get them involved, not just playing on the devices and so on. They could make positive contributions to the development of Tobago, and we're having a gap between the younger generation and the older generation, because young people don't think they will ever get old. And it's not like long ago where when your parents bake the bread, they will say, go drop it for auntie or granny. Now everybody have their own thing, so there's a gap that is developing between the population, and it needs to be bridged, and this is like a really powerful bridging opportunity as well. So there are social activities that people can engage in, even like these, and of course you keep the environment clean, you reduce the burden of disease, because could you imagine, we get an outbreak of dengue just about now, putting a burden on the health system that is already strained with all the chronic diseases that we have. So the idea of prevention is actually much more critical now. And we can capitalize on that opportunity.
So this is a holistic approach. It's not just about collecting waste. It's also about preventing diseases. It's also fostering community togetherness, engagement. It's also helping our young people to find some sense of purpose during this period. And if they're clever, they could even make a small business out of it.
Of course. So you see that there are so many things. And I didn't even talk about the rodent infestation, which is happening around now. Once you have harborage, you'll have rodents as well. When you move these things out, you know, people die from leptospirosis in our country every year. And then the thing about the loss to business and to all, or even in the home, when rats, you know, infest your home and bite up your food and your clothes and all these things. So there's a lot. I think we could spend more time educating people and encouraging people to be more conscientious, because we're losing that. People are becoming much more selfish, and we are saying this is not the Tobago that we grew up in.
That's right. That's right. Everybody lives in a sort of isolation. I have as you rightfully said, I have my own thing. You know, long time where there used to be in a village, only like 1 or 2 persons have a TV, or 1 or 2 persons have a stove or a fridge. And as you said, Granny would bake and she would send to all your neighbors. I remember growing up younger, you have to send bread here, send bread there, you're walking up the whole hill, back up and down to deliver bread. And you know, we really used to be a community in those days. And so I really wish that those things can come back as well, so that we work together together to ensure that our space is clean, that our space is habitable
and safe,
and that the generations that come up can enjoy, the things that we have here on this island of Tobago. And I want to thank you so much, and we look forward to the schedule when it comes out in terms of collection. And I want to take this opportunity on your behalf to encourage our viewers and our listeners to ensure that you listen out for the schedule. You put your items out the evening before, and that you don't miss the bus. Please do not put your things out on Christmas Eve night. I know everybody likes the element of surprise because they want to make sure their house spick and span Christmas morning. But what about the people who are working to ensure that the environment itself is clean? We don't want to put added pressure on the resources that we currently have. We want to ensure that all the items are out in this specified times, the times that we advise that they are out. So join with the division and ensure that your waste is outside in the correct time, and that don't put any concrete.
No concrete.
We collected white waste, and we, Mr. Bob, itemize what the white waste looks like. It's your microwave, your fridge, your stove, anything like that, containers that can collect water and cause infestation of any sort. Is there anything you'd like to share in closing before we wrap?
Well, we have noticed that as I drive around, I'm seeing a lot of old mattresses. We will take up that as well. Okay. But we're just encouraging people to participate and to cooperate so that we can have a successful campaign. And as we do this, you'll feel much better in your own community.
Yes, because I love to see a nice clean space, and of course it's Christmas time. We want the place to look nice and fresh. We want to smell the paint. We don't want to smell the bugs. So make sure you take your stuff outside in time. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bob, for coming into studio this morning and sharing this information with us. And coming up next is Miss Dayshell Morrison and Miss Joshelle Dan from the Signal Hill Secondary School as they talk about Christmas and the Greens. They are coming up next. Viewers, we're going to go for a short break before we continue with conversations with them. And of course, this is your opportunity to share the life, share the life, share the life. We'll be back.